ever get a gift and it just feels, I don't know, kind of off?
Yeah.
Our listener wrote in about this experience with, well, get this, haunted handbags.
Haunted handbags. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Vivid nightmares, strange coincidences, the whole 9 yards. So our listener, they got these two purses, right? Two of the exact same purse. It was a gift from their ex-boyfriend's dad's friend, of all people. And not long after, the nightmares started. In the dreams, there was this woman just radiating anger, pure rage. And it would start with just her, but then as the dreams kept happening, they'd escalate. This woman in the dream, she'd go after our listeners' loved ones. There was one where she's trying to pull their family member into a frozen lake, and our listeners trying to fight her off, save them. And the worst part was, it didn't feel like a normal dream, you know. Our listeners said they could run without it being all floaty. They felt the cold, the panic, everything. It was all too real. Said she was wearing this long blue dress, kind of old-fashioned, looking like something out of Victorian times, and her hair was dark, all curled up around her neck. But the creepiest thing was her face. Just this pure, unadulterated fury. Haunting is the only way to describe it. And it gets worse. One night, our listener wakes up, practically jumps out of their skin. Their ex was there and saw the whole thing. Said our listener was sitting straight up, gasping for air, eyes wide with fear. The listener was so freaked out, didn't want to go back to sleep. They felt totally haunted, you know. A few days later, our listener runs into the guy who gave them the purses.
Joe. Joe. As in the ex-boyfriend's dad's friend.
The one and only. And all of a sudden, they get this overwhelming feeling that there's some kind of connection between those purses, the woman in their dreams, and Joe. So they ask Joe, point blank, where'd you get these purses? Well, Joe clams up for a second. You can practically hear the gears turning in his head.
Yeah.
Joe finally admits that the purses, they belong to his ex-girlfriend. But wait, there's more. Turns out, his ex, she had died a few years back. And how'd she die?
Oh no, don't tell me.
Let me start off by saying I don't talk about this often because when I do, I sound crazy. A few years ago, I was gifted two purses by my ex-boyfriend's dad's friend. I accepted the purses and I noticed that I was having these reoccurring nightmares with this lady in each nightmare. So one night, I fell asleep. My ex-boyfriend was sitting at the computer. He's gaming and whatnot. This lady pops up in my dream, but this dream is a little bit different because she was jumping in everybody that I loved's body and trying to get them to themselves in a frozen lake. So I was pulling them away, and she didn't like that very much. And then she refocuses on me, and she's running after me, and I'm running, but it's, you know how in dreams, like, you can't run very fast, like, it's always in slow-mo or you punch slow. Well, in this dream, I was running fast, and each time that I was looking back at her, she was gaining on me, and I got a glimpse of pretty much all of her features, like what she was wearing, what her hair looked like. It was black, it curled into her neck, and she just looked very mad. So eventually this lady, she gets me. She was wearing like a blue, long, almost Victorian type dress. She had black straight hair that curled into her neck. And she looked very mad. And so she eventually gets me, and I was woken up by my ex-boyfriend, who said that I sat straight up in bed and started hyperventilating with my eyes rolled in the back of my head. I woke up absolutely terrified. I had no idea what was going on. He had no idea what was going on. He thought I was having a seizure of some sort, and I was petrified to go to sleep. I called my grandma, and I explained to her what was going on. I told her I'm tired of this, like, it's causing me to lose sleep. I don't want to fall asleep. I don't want to see this lady anymore. I don't understand who she is or why this is happening, but I feel like I'm being haunted. So then, fast forward to a few days later, I see Joe again. I need to make a part 2. Part 2 of the paranormal experience. Fast forward to a few days later, I had seen Joe again. So then at that point, I felt like I made the correlation that this could have been happening because it could have been related to the purses somehow. So then I asked him, where'd you get the purses from? And he had told me that they belonged to his ex-girlfriend. So from there, I had asked him, you know, is she still in the picture? Is she around here somewhere? And he had told me that she had herself a few years prior. And then I asked him for a photo. And he pulls out his wallet. And in the picture, it's him and her. And it's literally the same lady from my dream. That same exact lady. And my ex was standing right next to me as we were talking about this whole thing. And I felt like I had been punched in the gut. Like, I couldn't understand, I couldn't believe it. And so I ended up getting rid of the purses, and I haven't had anything like that happen ever since. Like, till this day, nothing else has ever happened like that since.
Thank you all for joining us for another deep dive into the strange and unexplained. Until next time, stay curious out there.
And maybe double check the history of those gifts you receive.